Good morning. It's December 12, 2023. It's Tuesday, and welcome to your program agenda. I seem to be having a slight lag there. Gab, please update me on how we are managing our broadcast this morning. But I'm just going to go on ahead and welcome our viewers, our guests. Thank you for joining us this morning. It's sunny here in Lipa, Batangas, and we are broadcasting live through the facilities of PLDT Home Fiber Optic Internet. Mr. Marco Barlongan, thank you very much for your support. And of course, thank you to all our Cignal TV subscribers. Please share your viewing experience with your friends. Encourage them to sign up, subscribe, because it's something that they would appreciate. And of course, they get to watch Agenda. Parang vested interest ko po yun. Anyway, thank you to our friends who catch us via Facebook and on YouTube, and of course, those who catch us via Cignal Play app. Thank you, thank you. And let's get on with today's program. Today, we are going to have a special guest, and it's going to be all about the Land Transportation Office. Let's get to know the new head of the LTO. Let's find out what are his qualifications, how he got into this job, because there are people who say anyone who wants to lead the LTO will get older by 10 years in in a matter of a few years. But anyway, we'll tackle that later. But first, let's go with our daily starter. Please pay attention. And it goes, health does not always come from medicine. Most of the time, it comes from peace of mind, peace in heart, peace in soul. It comes from laughter and love. Because by the time you need medicines to sustain or maintain your good health, chances are you're already overstressed, you're already problematic, you're already unhealthy. So like yours truly, your Kuya Cito Beltran, I've become a vegetarian and people are kind of scratching their heads, but it really makes a difference. So live healthy, have peace of mind. That's why we're here in Lipa City, Batangas. Peace in heart and peace in soul, and make sure you laugh. Okay, let's go to the front page of the Philippine Star today. It's December 12, 2023. And strong words from President Bongbong Marcos. Only Philippines has legitimate right over West Philippine Sea, BBM. In DFA summons Chinese envoy. Only Filipinos have the legitimate right to operate anywhere in the West Philippine Sea, President Marcos has asserted, stressing that the country would remain steadfast in the defense of its sovereignty amid China's continued dangerous actions against our citizens. China Coast Guard ship moved to ram Christmas convoy. That's according to the people who were in the Christmas convoy. The reason they decided to turn back was medyo pine-placing na sila at tutumbukin na raw sila para lang naman bilyar, ano? Okay, at the top of the front page, 9 terrorists, 8 MILF fighters killed in Mindanao clashes. 8 MILF fighters were killed when they came into encounter with with Daula Islamia terrorists in Pagalungan, Maguindanao del Sur over the weekend. If you recall, the MILF has now entered into a peace agreement and cooperation with the government. And so now they are policing, patrolling their territory, and that's what happened there. Meanwhile, BICAM OK's 2024 national budget. Okay, the national budget features legacy programs which President Bongbong Marcos once funded, particularly cheaper housing and then agriculture and another thing. Let me just look into that. There we go. The bill will cover legacy budget allocations and particularly for agriculture, irrigation, but especially for specialty hospitals and food security and affordable housing. Yan po yung co-cover ng legacy budgets for BBM. Meanwhile, Marcos attending ASEAN Japan Summit in Tokyo. President Marcos is traveling to Tokyo this week to join the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, Japan Commemorative Summit, where the region's leaders are expected to discuss common concerns, including the South China Sea Road. Okay. And then further down in the front page, on the front page, we have a photo on the left lower part of the First Lady with Leslie Mobo, bench founder Ben Chan, Cultural Center Philippines President Margie Moran Florendo, the First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, SM Investment Vice Chairperson Tessie C. Coson, Taguig City Mayor Lani Cayetano, SM Supermalls President Stephen Tan, and fashion designer Joey Samson as they opened, the inaugural collaboration between SM Supermalls, Bench, Lifestyle, etc., called the Paskong TernoCon 2023 at SM Aura. Last few news items. Government gets lowest points in fighting inflation. According to an Okta Research survey, September 30 to October 4, only 14% of respondents were satisfied with the government's performance in managing inflation. Majority, or 64%, were dissatisfied. Okay, marami na po niyan. Top photo shows President Marcos taking his oath as Chief Scout of the Boy Scouts of the Philippines. Okay, before declaring the opening of the 18th National Scout Jamboree at Pintados de Pasi Camp in Pasig City, Iloilo. Lower photo shows Scouts in attendance posing during a break in the ceremonies. And last but not the least, Meralco rates lower this month. So yung po, lower generation charge, pull down rates of Manila Electric Company this month, ending 3 consecutive months of increases. Kasama na po yan. If you notice, even diesel and gasoline have gone down. So that's good news for everyone. We will now go for a quick break. And when we return, we go to our guest who will speak to us, discuss with us everything and anything about LTO. We'll be right back here on Agenda.
The Land Transportation Office, or LTO, is gearing up for the expected increase in motor vehicles plying the roads this Christmas season. A factor behind that is not just the holidays, but the number of unregistered cars in the country. But in the spirit of Christmas, the LTO said it will ease on the implementation of the no registration, no travel policy by just giving warnings to drivers of unregistered vehicles. If you're among those who want to avoid the hassle and register your vehicle, the transport agency is setting up special lanes to expedite this process. This move aims to register around 24.7 million motor vehicles with expired registration. LTO is also focused on providing road assistance in major thoroughfares and transport hubs like terminals and airports. What are the agency's other plans in dealing with the influx of motor vehicles this Yuletide season? Let's discuss this on today's agenda.
Atty. Vigor Mendoza II currently serves as the Chief of the Land Transportation Office, or LTO. Mendoza, who is carrying the rank of Assistant Secretary, is also a former lawmaker who represented the One Utak party list in Congress.
Good morning, Assistant Secretary Mendoza. Finally, sabi nga nila, pag nagtyaga, may asik.
Thank you, Tito. Thank you very much. Pasensya ka na. Talagang marami ng problema, no? Yung LTO, and then they kept on reminding me. Minsan, yung senior moment ako nakakalimutan ko na I have to set an interview with you. Sorry. My apologies.
No problem. We are here to help the LTO. And for starters, I think it would help for the public to get to know who exactly are you and where did you come from and how did you end up in this job, which many people will say, nako, puputi ang buhok.
Hindi, Sito. Hindi puputi ang buhok mo rito. Mawawala.
Okay.
I had more here when I came in.
Okay. Well, anyway, but in all seriousness,
yes.
You strike me as someone who is relatively younger compared to me. So you're probably in your 50s, am I mistaken?
Oh, thank you, Cito. No, I'm already senior citizen. I'm already 60, turning 61 this Thursday.
Oh, okay. On Thursday.
Yes.
Na tiempo ko pa, na mag-birthday ka? Okay. So anyway,
Yes.
so you're already a senior citizen, but what is your background? I mean, you were a party list congressman, but in terms of education, schooling, alam mo, dyan nakaka-relate ang tao. Sino ba itong Mendoza na ito? Paano siya napasok sa LTO?
Alam mo, Ateneo graduate ako law school. From elementary all the way to law school. I graduated in 1988. Kasama ko dyan si Secretary Benher Abalos. Was 1 year ahead of me, 1 year ahead of me. And I've been involved with the transport sector since all my life, because my family used to run a bus company way back in the 50s, 60s. Meron kaming dati di Diyos Transport. Tumatakbo yan it used to run goods in Manila.
Yeah, the Diyos Transport was your family?
Yes, that's my middle name, the Diyos.
No, because we always thought yung De Diyos yung mga mistisong matatangos ang uso na malalaking tao.
Maybe exception to the rule, okay yun.
Okay, but you're a Mendoza. How come it's De Diyos Transit?
My mother is De Diyos. Mendoza is from Pampanga. That's my father. We are related to the former Secretary of Justice, Estelito Mendoza.
Okay. Estelito Mendoza. Okay. Okay.
So, and then, so I've been involved in the transport sector for all my life. I also entered government as an LTFRB board member during the time of the Estrada administration. And then when he left, I went back to practice law, but also involved with various transport groups. And I was already pushing the agenda way back in 2001, the agenda of modernization. I realized that to uplift the life of the ordinary transport worker, we have to modernize the industry and not depend ourselves on the old vehicles, no? That really pushes them down to poverty level because they're the oldest of their vehicle. So from 2001 until the present, I've been really moving for modernization of the transport sector. I became congressman in 2007, 2010 as party list representative of the transport sector. And then after that, back to the private practice until I came back to the government now as LTO head. So that's my entire. I've been with the transport sector for over 2 decades now.
Okay, some people would say, wow, unfair advantage yan. He's from the transport sector, etc. His heart will be pro-transport because of, but is that the case? Has becoming LTO chief or assistant secretary for land transportation, has it become a plus or a minus for someone who has dedicated and lived his life in transport, particularly bus companies?
Alam mo, it's really LTO specifically. I've been offered other posts, but LTO specifically, because I realized the problem with the transport industry is the implementation of its laws and rules and regulations. We're very lucky on that. We have so many laws, so many rules. It's a matter of implementing it properly. Yung basic lang, the most basic of this is like the colorum operations. Bata pa ako, meron ng colorum eh. These are vehicles who do not have franchises running as public utility vehicles. So it's unfair to the legitimate public utility operator who follows all the rules, and here you have a vehicle that does not follow any rule at all. So I'd like to address these basic things. I'd like to go back to basic discipline on the road sector. And I think LTO is the proper agency that would help instill discipline in the road sector. And my being here is both good and bad, because I understand, being with the transport sector, I understand how they think. I know the leaders. I understand where they're coming from. I know the drivers. I know what they're thinking. And because of that, it gives me an insight. I give the DOTR a different angle whenever there's a problem presented. I give my 2 cents worth of advice, but in my small world here in the LTO, it's down to discipline.
Yeah, but Asek, here's the contradiction that I see in what you just said.
Yeah.
You enter the LTO, you are a transport person, you enter the LTO. In real terms, the LTO, except for registration, maybe, of the vehicle and inspection, is powerless as far as the transport sector is concerned, kasi that's the realm of the LTFRB.
As far as franchising is concerned, surely, no? But mine is more of implementing these rules on the ground, because LTFRB does not have the implementation arm. It's LTO that has the implementation arm. So that's the task I'd like to fulfill. I try to achieve that by putting some order in the rules in the franchises issued by government, so that those who are legitimate franchise holders can really do the business that they'd like to do.
Okay, we are on the same team as far as that's concerned. Mga kaibigan, liliwanagin ko lang po, no? Kasi ako naman, if Asek Mendoza has been in transport, ang sabi ng mga kaibigan ko sa LTO, sir, sa dami mo nang alam at kilala sa LTO, para ka nang may sariling regional office. So, I know the problems of the LTO, which is where I'm coming from, Asek, no?
Yes.
I would love for you to be able to do what you want, but with what army? Because I know for a fact that you can count your law enforcement units from Apari to Hulo. Maybe you have less than 200 kung law enforcement, o baka naman 300 for for all the regions and all the barangays.
Right. 545, Cito, umakyat na yung law enforcement. 545 warm bodies for law enforcement nationwide. It's besides that, no, yesterday I had a meeting with MMDA. Force multiplier lang talaga eh. We have to train people who can help us implement these laws. No? It's good. It's good. The Philippine Coast Guard is with the DOTR. No? They will be sending over a complement to help augment our force. No? DOTR created a group precisely to assist LTO also in implementing the road transport laws. No? And I'm now in constant communication with local government units. It's a total shift. I mean, but we have to train these enforcers very well.
Yeah,
That's
because
where the crux is.
because that has been the criticism na, sir, paano magkakadisiplina sa kalsada yung enforcer nakamotor, walang helmet, hindi nakarehistro yung motor. It is your force multipliers who are part of the barangay barkada and who don't know about road laws and don't know about discipline.
Yes. Then tayo nagsisimula. We start off with that. We start off with the force multiplier. But it's not a shotgun effect. We try to deputize everybody. Piliin natin yan. In fact, this week and last week, we started the training process. We will be launching on Monday an entire building dedicated to train these enforcers. That's how focused we are. But I have this distinct advantage over past administrations because we have these technologies. The technology has caught up with us. By next week, we will implement no contact apprehension. That would help us also in implementing laws even without warm bodies on the ground.
Okay, wait a minute. Kindly repeat that. By what did you say? By next week?
Opo, we will be signing a MOA with the MMDA to implement no contact apprehension inside the bus lane first. Inside the bus lane. Then I hope to use this program inside the tollways. So I'll be talking to the tollway operators for the implementation of no contact apprehension.
Okay, because as far as the bus lane is concerned, there's no problem there because that's really a specialized zone at hindi naman yan for public. Okay, so no arguments there. As far as the tollways are concerned, that is effectively private property. So it is the call of the tollway operators and the toll regulatory board in conjunction, in cooperation with you. But has this been cleared with the courts? Because from what I understand, this is still an unresolved issue in the courts.
That's correct, Cito. I'm very familiar with the Supreme Court case. Kasi ako rin ang nag-akyat sa Supreme Court niyan. So I know very well the no contact apprehension program has its good points. The reason why we brought it up before the Supreme Court is precisely because we saw the problems being implemented. Knowing the positioning in the Supreme Court, we're now coming up with a program that will not at all be in conflict with the Supreme Court case.
Okay, kasi ang nangyari, ginawang negosyo ng mga LGU through PPP, yung no contact apprehension. Instead of just MMDA Metropolitan Manila-wide system, pinakialaman na ng mga LGU. So it won't end up being taken up in the court.
No more. We're not using the same law as what was questioned before the courts. We're using now the LTO charter. It will be nationwide in scope because LTO being a national agency. We can now implement this in Metro Manila, Metro Cebu, the critical areas, and try to discuss this with the local government units on how this will be implemented. But we'll start it slow so that we can review the technology and make it more relevant to us. We already have a command center that will handle all this data coming in. It's been with us. We're launching it also next week. This command center. So
is there? Go ahead.
So on the legal standpoint, this will not be in conflict with the Supreme Court. On a technology standpoint, we will have to reboot, test all our systems. And then on an implementation standpoint, we're doing it already in LTO in a way, but now to be more systematic. We will
Okay.
use the NCAP as a means to instill discipline in the roads.
Okay, so you're starting on the bus lane. Now, I support you there because there have been a growing
Yeah.
criticism of the overemphasis on the bus lane, especially on the
Oo.
MMDA. Na hello, ilan bang tao kailangan ninyo para lang bantayan yung bus lane na yan?
Oo.
So,
Correct.
but is there any other reason why you want to do the NCAP? Because clearly, fear has entered the hearts of many drivers. Masakit yung 5,000 o 10,000 pag double jeopardy. But is there also another agenda for putting up the NCAP
No,
on the
it's
bus
more.
lane?
It's more of, as you said, yung of course multiplier. We lack the personnel. That's an admitted fact. We cannot be everywhere, but using the no contact apprehension program, we can now expand our reach and monitor various roads without any warm bodies standing along the road. It
Okay.
will also eliminate the possibility of face-to-face transactions along the road.
Okay, what about on the expressway? Because I, for one, I have a pet peeve. It's people who ride motorcycles, and I have friends and pastors who ride big bikes. So that's not an issue for me. I enjoy when they share. Pero on the expressway, there are groups who just like drive like the devil on the expressway. That's just one. But what are your targets on the expressway?
Well, same thing. No, with non-contact apprehension, we can monitor the expressways in the convenience of our offices. And again, the people who will man this will be right here in the central office. Kahit nationwide application, and all the data will come in here, and then we merely show cause orders. It's not as if we penalize immediately the motorist. They'll be given their day in court where they can explain. We show cause order po yan, and then they will. If everything is explained well, then they have no problem. Otherwise, they will be fined accordingly.
Okay, what about because in the previous administration, I did assist the LTO in telling the public regarding the overloading campaigns of the LTO on the expressways. And in our conversations, nasabi sa akin ng mga authorities then, it would really help if we just simply had fixed locations along the entrance to Metro Manila and along the entrances to the expressways para matigil na itong mga bus at containers and trucks na overloading and destroying the streets of Metro Manila, particularly C5 and expressways.
Yeah, overloading is one of our critical missions this coming year. I mean, even in the Senate, I've represented that, let LTO do the job. Right now, under the present law, LTO was relegated as a support group. DPWH is the primary group in the sense that DPWH has the capital outlay for the way bridges, for the weighing scale. So LTO does not have it. So in fact, in one of the Senate hearings, some people give us this opportunity, we will implement it. So that's part of our planning this coming week with the regional director, especially Region 3 in Bulacan and Pampanga areas where a lot of these trucks come in. And you're right, we have to have stationary places wherein we can monitor this. Again, good for us. Technology also cropped up. We can monitor the operations. All our enforcers have body cams already. So, and everything is, even the ticketing is electronically issued. Pwede manually issued, and then meron roadside transactions. So we can monitor our own enforcers that way.
What about Region 1? I think it is, going to the Dalton Pass, Isabela area, because you see that every time you go up that road, trucks stop to pour water on their brakes. And all the motoring experts will tell you, when your brakes overheat, that means you use it too much. That means you're overloaded or your brakes are defective. And parang, ganun na lang, bubuhusan nyo na lang ng tubig. Kayo yung problema, ino-overload nyo yung mga truck nyo.
Correct yan. No? In fact, Dalton Pass, going to Region 2, is a critical area also for us. No? That borders Nueva Vizcaya and Bulacan. That's also one point of interest as far as LTO is concerned. So this year, we're now identifying places where we will be locating our people, and for the proper coordination again with DPWH and PNP. But we will take the lead. We will not wait for the other agencies to move, because we are also being tasked by this. So
which is good, because I remember sumbong sa akin ng tiga LTO before, sir, yung nadaling mga tiga LTO dun sa Dalton Pass yata yun, where the ASEC suspended all of them. Sabi, sir, hindi LTO yung mga nangungurap eh. Ibang government agency, sila yung nakatira dun eh. So it's good that you're now taking the lead. Anyway, ASEC Mendoza, let's go for a quick break. When we return, I'd like you to run down the other programs, kasi yung projects mo, baka mapako tayo dyan sa overloading, ubus araw natin. Okay, we'll be right. We'll be here. We'll be right back here on Agenda after this quick break. Welcome back to your program Agenda here on One News Cignal TV channels 8 and 250, and continuing our conversation with Attorney Vigor Mendoza II, Chief Land Transportation Office Assistant Secretary of the DOTR. So, ASEC Mendoza, welcome back. And
Thank you.
I'd like for you to just go ahead, roll out what's more important to you right now kasi baka mapako tayo sa overloading at saka no contact comprehension.
Oo nga, oo nga. No, one thing we'd like to do no, is license plates. So we have more than enough already. We're now ironing out timelines. Gusto namin, once a vehicle is bought by a buyer, in 2 to 3 days, the ORCR and the plate is already delivered to the buyer. We can do that already. We're just talking to the dealers to cooperate with us on this, no? Because we found out that a lot of our plates are stuck with the dealers. And if they will not budge, we're also toying with the idea of sending it by courier to the buyer already straight, no? So that it doesn't get stuck with the dealers and then the buyers wait for a long time. So we're doing this. We're trying to make our systems more efficient as far as that's concerned. The plate production and distribution. We're also reviewing our rules and guidelines as far as securing a license is concerned.
Wait a minute. Before you go there,
okay.
I just want to go to that issue about license plates and registration because I was told by, alam mo, tambay sa kanto rin ako dito and sinasabi sa akin ng mga nagmomotor, Sir, yung mga motor na yan, nakakatatlong may-ari na yan. The dealer sells it and then maririmatahin, ma-foreclose, kukunin, they sell and then third party. But the whole time, iniipit yung mga rehistro, yung mga papel o yung walang plate number, etc. Because I understand from the data that I think the research team came up with, motorcycles are one of your focus groups with 81.5% of the total delinquent vehicles. 20.15 million are motorcycles not registered.
That's correct. Based on our computer data, around 20 million are unregistered. Dami yan. And you're right. No? I mean, we're having a problem really in the distribution side. But initially on the production side, our backlog is around 13 million. So hinahabol namin yung backlog na yan. So it will take us, we told Congress, given our production capacity right now, it will take us around 2.5 years just to clear up that 13 million. But in order not to add to the 13 million anymore, we can now cater to the current demand. And that's what we're looking at. If you buy a motorcycle now, we'd like you to have your license plate within 2 to 3 days from the time you bought it. So
including the registration.
Everything, the plate, the CR, the OR.
Okay. Now, you mentioned the Congress, and since you were a former congressman,
yes.
Isa sa mga pinaglaban ko, and I wrote about this. The LTO apparently earns billions of pesos, but they don't get to spend it for their operations and their requirements. Did you take this up with Congress? Because you're earning the money, you can pay for all of this and more, but you're not allowed to.
You hit it right in the head of the nail, Cito. I mean, I came in too late in the game as far as the 2024 budget is concerned. Napasok na eh. No? But our 2024 budget of around 3.7 billion with a collection target of 33 billion is not reflective. Given our capacities, manpower, as you mentioned, and our ability to enforce the laws, it will be very difficult for us to attain a 33 billion peso target. What I'd like to propose, on the other hand, given if, as you said, if we're given the proper resources, we can even go higher than 33 billion. And that is what I'm preparing for the 2025 budget, a higher budget, a more responsive budget to a higher revenue target.
But being a former congressman, you are aware that there are certain means by which Congress can release you special allocations and special budgets. Yun lang sa law enforcement, because if you start going out and arresting violators, word will quickly spread na, nako po, madadali ka doon, magparehistro ka na, alisin mo na yung mga illegal na nakakabit sa sasakyan mo.
Correct. Exactly. No, I mean, impounding area lang, Cito. No, I mean, precisely why we're going slow at it. No? Wala kami impounding area. We use our parking lots as impounding area. No? We cannot really walk the talk as far as instilling discipline on the road. If wala kang impounding, hanggang threat ka lang. No? If you get caught, then you get impounded. But if we really enforce it strictly, ay sus, maraming ma-impound but we don't have the area. So, hindi siya match.
Hindi ba pwedeng impound na lang yung driver? Nagbibiro lang po, pero
kung pwede lang, wala rin kaming lugar.
No, but what about, what you do with the bus lanes? You hit them with a 5,000 peso on the spot fine.
Yeah. No, there is such a thing. No? Our fines are pretty hefty already as it is. No, meron pang yung mga point system. No, if the driver accumulates so much penalties in the year, their license gets suspended. So medyo stricto na ngayon as far as penalties are concerned. No? It's now just getting the proper resources to be able to really implement it properly.
May naisip akong gimmick, Atty. Mendoza.
Ano yan?
Kada mahuli mo for impound, i-impound doon sa address na yung LGU address nung na-impound. So yung LGU ngayon, sila magtatago ng sasakyan, sa kanila tutubusin. O di pare-pareho kayong kumita.
But in fact, we started that with MMDA now. MMDA is giving us an impounding area to help us. No? Pero maganda yan. We can probably expand the model to specific local government units.
Because the MMDA is composed of the mayors of the 13 cities, etc. or whatever.
Oh.
Anyway, okay, so sorry para makunti ka LTO eh.
Pero magaling. I noted it down. That's a good idea.
Yeah, because if you tell them, ikaw saan ka nakatira? Pasig po. O sige. Mayor Bico, meron po kami na impound nahuli dito, papa-impound sa inyo, magtutubos na lang sa inyo just Pasig. Of course, baka sabihin ni Bico, binigyan mo pa kami ng problema. Anyway, okay. So moving forward, you were talking about licenses. What's the problem with licenses?
Injunction kami, di ba? I mean, we were already in the process of being able to cater to our backlog, no? Our backlog before was 2.4 million. It's down to around 2.2. And then an injunction was slapped on the bidding process. So nahinto yung aming supply of licenses.
Hey, but can't you go to the Supreme Court and to the DOJ or I don't know, hindi po ako nagmamarunong dito, but the LTO is a constant victim of this scenario. If there is a losing bidder, that person automatically goes to court and files for an injunction. Hindi ba pwede sa pre-bidding or sa bid documents, you must accept the decision with finality? Parang ganon. Kasi I mean, nakakaawa na kayo, sir, at mas kawawa ang Pilipino.
Tama ka, Cito. I have noted in the last 10 years, no, the licensing bidding went up to the Supreme Court, including this case now, no, 3 times. So in the meantime, nakabinbin lahat, naka-hold, no? So it's really a problem. But you're right, it's something we have to discuss with the courts and perhaps like major infrastructure projects, considering the public interest involved, no? Na wag sana naman i-injunction. So, I mean, if it's a damages issue, that can be litigated in court, but not to stop the entire project because of the public interest implications.
Given this situation, can't you go into a PPP thing or government to government or something? Kasi I understand kung public bidding, ganun talaga buhay, hahanap ng paraan. But given this scenario, you're the former congressman, so pwede bang mag-PPP or something? Because this is ridiculous, 10 years of injunctions.
Again, Cito, you read my mind. We, in fact, are already talking to NPO and Apple Printing, both the government printing offices, in order to come up with a G2G, in order to accelerate the acquisition. So we can already process the licenses even though with the TRO. Yes. Yeah. Good idea.
That's brilliant that you're going to work with the National Printing Office.
Yeah.
Payamanin natin yung mga government agencies and facilities Instead na pinayayaman nyo yung mga walang ginawa kundi mag-away sa korte.
Exactly. If this works out, this cycle, then that could be the model the next couple of years. But just go government to government na lang.
Okay, what about all the requirements that were put up in the past na a lot of motorists and student drivers have told me, sir, pinahirap naman masyado yung proseso. Mahirap na nga, pinamahal pa yung trying to get a student license, trying to get a driver's license. Tsaka hello, pati yung anak ko galit sa LTO kasi na-fail daw siya sa driving test niya kasi may trick question kayo na sabi niya, this does not make sense. I'm not even going to answer it. Yung, what do you do when it snows? Sabi niya, does it ever snow in the Philippines? What's wrong with them?
I know, Cito. I mean, I also failed my first exam. I mean, I have to admit, no? Kasi, ang tinanong sa akin tungkol sa truck, hindi naman truck ang aking na-applyan, no? It's a random series of questions. So, that is being changed as we speak, no? Kung ang ina-applyan niya kotse, dapat ang tanong tungkol sa kotse, hindi sa truck. Talagang mawawala ka. But I never encountered that question about snow. But I'll check on that after this, no. But yeah, we're reviewing that because some of the questions are really off tangent. No?
But what about the length of training? Kasi another concern is, okay, so the LTO managed to systematize everything that we are no longer being taught by our Tito Boy or by the driver. We are actually going to a driving school. But unlike driving schools abroad, driving schools here are 5 sessions, 5,000, bye-bye, good luck. May mga nagsasabi, hello, anong matututunan yan in 5 sessions?
Lahat yan, under review, both the theoretical and the practical exams. No? We're reviewing them because you're right, some of them are just too lengthy, no? Or too short depending on the type of license that they are trying to acquire. So lahat yan under review. We have already draft resolutions that could change everything. No? We're also taking advantage of online systems that were used during the pandemic as a means to make it more convenient on the people applying for these licenses or registering their vehicles. In fact, next year, the first quarter of next year, we're trying to push public utility vehicles to register their vehicles online. Yung motor vehicle inspection, actual na, hindi lang visual, but then wag na kayo pumuntang LTO, online registration na.
Okay, let's go for a quick break, very quick. But then I want to ask you about that because marami nagtatanong Sir, kailan ka nakakita ng jeep doon sa LTO? Sabi ko, patay kang bata ka. Tricycle, nakakita ka na ba sa LTO? Patay kang bata ka. Okay, we'll go for a quick break. When we return, I'll let you answer that and get everything else. Thank you very much. We'll be right back here on Agenda. Welcome back to your program agenda. We are continuing our conversation with Assistant Secretary Vigor Mendoza II. Asek, okay, yung tanong, nakakita ka na ba ng jeepney, public utility jeepney or tricycle na motor vehicle inspection at nire-rehistro sa LTO? How does the magic work?
Alam mo, nung bago pa, I'm barely 5 months into office, but that's one of my first questions, yung non-appearance, no? So, but I know about that already since I came from the private sector to non-appearance motor vehicle inspection, and it's for that reason also that we'd like to tap the private sector as far as implementing motor vehicle inspection until we come up with a 100% solution to prevent non-appearance. I've spoken with the transport leaders on this. Sabi ko, pasensya na, wala nang non-appearance ngayon. Talaga kailangan we will inspect each and every vehicle. No? And again, technology has caught up also kasi everything now is captured on camera and then uploaded to our computer systems that we can validate it. So hopefully that would minimize, if not totally eradicate, the issue of non-appearance.
Okay, so I'll leave you now the rest of the 5 minutes we have to roll out whatever else you want to talk about, Asek.
You know, road transport in the Philippines is interesting compared to other parts of the world. In fact, a visitor of mine came back from Vietnam and was asking me, bakit sa Vietnam the motorcycle taxis are very orderly, no? And I go back to say it goes back to the issue of discipline on the road. And that's something that, I know it's easier said than done, but it's something that the LTO now would like to instill. First thing, I've told this to our people, if there's any reason why I'm here in LTO, it's because of law enforcement. Yung plates, yung licenses, maayos natin yan. We can work that out, the distribution system, online registration. But law enforcement is the difficult part because it involves people and the limitations of LTO are also challenging by itself. But this is one singular reason why I am here, in order to enhance LTO's enforcement capability. And hopefully, if we're like 10% discipline in the road, if I can reach 60-70%, I cannot perfect it, but with the help of other agencies of government, DOTR specifically, the secretary has been very supportive in every time reminding us of roadworthiness issues. No? So this is something I'd like to do little by little, one step at a time. And we'll start it off.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We'll start it off, Cito, when it comes to motor vehicle inspection this coming year.
Okay.
I'd like to start the discipline when it comes to motor vehicle inspection.
So you'll start with the public utility vehicles, presumably, because
yes,
you are pushing on the modernization program na wala nang mga extension.
Opo. And then my theory is you change the environment where they work, and their attitude towards work will also change. I guess this is a carryover from other NGOs that are thinking that way. Same thing. No? Change the environment of their work, and their attitude will change as well.
Okay, I understand you have an emergency appointment or you need to leave early, so I will not detain you. But last question na lang, Asek, yung nanggigigil ang marami. Kasi on the highways, especially outside, even in Metro Manila and especially outside Metro Manila, sobrang dami na ng mga naka-LED lights na hindi naman original equipment on vehicles, especially mga motorsiklo. And have they become a cause of concern? I'm not talking big bikes. I'm talking about scooters, etc. And the electric, alam mo yung parang electric na ginagamit ng mga senior citizen, na I keep getting complaints about them kasi sabi, hindi naman dapat pinapayagan sa highway yan.
Yeah, there is now an interagency. Rules of the electric vehicles will change in the next couple of weeks, because we've noted an influx of electric vehicles along major thoroughfares. Some of these, nakikita mo, they're scooters being driven by minors in major thoroughfares, no? Or secondary major roads. No? So this is now under review, that not just by DOTR, by LTO, but also by DOE. So these are the agencies tasked under the electric vehicle law. We hope to come up with new guidelines. I'm trying to rush it before Christmas, pero medyo bitin ng Christmas eh. But at the latest, by early next year, we'll have a new operational guidelines when it comes to electric vehicles.
Ay yung mga nagda-dark tint sa windshield, which is illegal in any other country, and then they will compensate with super bright LED lights. Parang sa kuminsan gusto kong batukan eh.
Ano mo, Cito, sinimulan ko muna sa busina. Yung mga businang napakalakas ang yung bastos ng busina. Yung mga sinimulan ko muna sa accessories. But yeah, lights is the next, sasabay-sabay ko na yan eh. Part of the disciplining in the road.
Okay. Well, Asek, I won't detain you. Thank you very much. I suppose we're going to have to do a part 2, but I sincerely pray that you and your team and all the LTO personnel will take advantage of this fresh start, and that the Lord will bless the work of your hands. God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Cito. Ako rin, araw-araw dinadasal ko na lang minsan. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. That's Assistant Secretary, Attorney Vigor Mendoza II, Chief of the Land Transportation Office. So you heard it. He said they will start the no-contact apprehension sa bus lane. And when they get the cooperation of the South Luzon, North Luzon, Star Tollway, all the other express Cavitex, if they get the cooperation, they will also do non-contact apprehension. And if you think that's a pipe dream, those expressway operators have sufficient number of cameras, monitors to track you and catch you if you are overspeeding or kung may mga problema sa equipment mo. Yun ang pinakamasakit. Yung bong nagda-drive ka, hindi mo maintain sa sasakyan mo, tumiri ka, nasiraan ka na, mahuhuli ka pa because of improper maintenance of your vehicle. So please be aware, no contact apprehension on bus lanes and express lanes. By 2024, motor vehicle inspection para sa public utilities, hindi na pwede yung non-appearance. So ang tanong na lang doon, pupunta ba yung LTO team sa mga parking garages or mga tricycle depots or whatever kasi wala namang space yung LTO. Naku po, problema na naman. Anyway, let's go to our blessing for the week. Gab, if you would. It is from the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verses 4 to 5. I sought the Lord, and He answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. Those who look to Him are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame. Please bear that in mind when you're having problems, when you're in the dumps, or you are afraid. Seek the Lord, seek His word. And I will tell you from personal experience, many times over, He has always replied, He has always comforted me, protected me, and I wish the same for you. Please keep Team Agenda in your prayers. Thank you for joining us, and kindly keep it here on One News.